So wonderful to have you all here, but I'm absolutely delighted. This is probably my favorite part of any conference I do in Egypt, and it's almost become a tradition, and I want to thank you for letting me do this every time. It's so nice that I get to do the report card, so to speak. So now let's have a quick look back, keep at the present, and later we'll look forward to. It's been a year now since the first forum, and really let's have a look and tell me, how has business been for the last year? What has really been going on, the highlights since we were here last year? What do you think they were if you were to put them together?
And that comes to the answer of your question. When we've seen the interest of the industry was interested through the companies, through the participants, exhibitors, everybody wanted to have a contribution. So we thought that we will do this forum on 2 days in order to accommodate all these requests and all these workshops, panels that were really on top of the requests of the companies. And why is that? Because they saw that this is a good opportunity for them, together with the industry, to have this interaction, not only between us, and we don't need to expose ourselves, but the idea is they wanted and they believed in showing and demonstrating to everybody that they are doing well in Egypt and they want to do more in Egypt, and they are together giving us this opportunity. So when I come back to the answer directly of your question, Edna, I would say that I have seen a big progress during the last year. We have had, I wouldn't say the number of people would ask how many awarded tenders, how many concessions you have given. And this is not the answer now, because I do not say that we have a mature mining sector yet. We are still, in my opinion, in kindergarten, and we are at tier 1. So therefore, I can see that we are growing rapidly. So we are not going to wait until elementary school and then high school and then university. No, we will jump after.
The fast track.
Exactly, fast track. And this is because we have seen the engagement and the commitment and the vibes and the interest. And why is that? Because I think that we started our reform properly and correctly back in 2018, and we have put together the ingredients into the design of the reform together. We listen to you, we listen to the industry, we listen to all investors, and we are still listening, we are still learning, we are still ready to adapt and to adopt. So don't worry. And I think that's why we see this important attendance. Perhaps yesterday in the opening, you've seen yourself, Edna, the number of participants, the number of exhibitors, the number of ministers, the number of delegations coming from different countries. And we didn't claim that we are having a world-class international conference. No, we said we have an Egypt forum. We didn't claim and we didn't say that we are the best. No, we are honest and sincere and saying we are trying, as we said, we are putting a reform plan. We are inviting everybody to come and contribute and to help us together to achieve a win-win for both of us. So what I can tell you that comparing last year, 2 years ago, or last year in the first edition to this year, that you can see that we are growing. We are growing. we are on the right track. We are successfully growing, and I'm confident, inshallah, that things are getting right.
Now, I mean, without a doubt, we're hearing great reports on what's happening here in the industry, and as you say, interest from other countries. You know, with the Saudi Arabian minister here, it was great to get him here, and the great interest, I think, that's happening here. And also, I think the topics we had, we look at this forum now, and we can see how it's grown. But, you know, all the panels, we had great discussion, we had very diverse discussion, different people this time. And again, people really realistically dealing with the issues and how the solutions are coming. But if you were to pick perhaps a few highlights from this 2 days, what do you go away with? What do you think?
Two things. One is really and sincerely, and perhaps not all of you were there, but actually we had a very successful roundtable. We had a very good roundtable yesterday, closed door roundtable, and this was with some of your respectful delegation and your good selves participating with us. And why it was a very good one? Because we had with us in the room the investors, our partners, whom we believe that they are the most important stakeholder with us, whom we believe that we are doing this forum for them. And at the same time, we had at the room different authorities of the country. So we had Ministry of Environment, GAFI, which is the investment authority. We had, the discussions were very open, and we had as well engaged with some international investors and different ministers, different countries with their different challenges and experiences. To tell you the truth, it was a very open discussion, and I see here in the audience some of your good selves attending with us the closed room roundtable yesterday, and I believe personally that it was a good one. So this was one of the important highlights where for the first time you see a good bond between environment, which is the bad guy everywhere, the environment regulator, and the industry, which is always being accused as a harmful industry, whether oil and gas, whether mining, whether whatever. We are always being blamed to be the bad guys. But yesterday it was very clear that there is a good bond, good alignment, good understanding on how to promote the industry, meanwhile abiding to the laws in a very, I would say, in a very comprehensive way. The second thing, the highlight that I've seen yesterday, in my opinion, and I was very happy to see global CEOs on this stage. It was a very good panel, and I really thank them very much because they spoke openly about the good and the challenge. So very positive feedback, whether the ones that they praised the country and the government, and also very good feedback for the challenges and the fears that they are having. And this is something that we really need to have, this open discussion, open dialogue, and where the questions were very open from Patrick as a moderator, saying, where do you see Egypt? Where do you see Egypt? And do you still think that it is the right place to invest, and so on? So these were very important questions that if perhaps in another environment, these questions wouldn't have been questioned from the first beginning. But because we are really open, we really sincerely want all our partners to be there, investing, confident, growing, putting their efforts into the mining sector. Other than that, it was good because we need also the feedback. We need the feedback to be heard everywhere, firsthand. We don't want to hear it from somebody else. We want to hear it from the global CEOs. The good also, the panel was equally by having the big players, big boys, and also the junior miners. And this is a good balance, a good trade, where you can see how Egypt can accommodate big, medium, and small investors in this segment. Actually, the mining sector, although, again, I belong to oil and gas industry, however, getting more engaged, I was able to understand more about petrochemicals and how in my interventions and in my engagement, I started to believe more in petrochemicals because this is where the added value, and here comes also the same. You cannot believe how rich this industry is. I'm not talking about Egypt, I'm talking about the industry, the mining industry, and how added value it could add to the economy, not only of Egypt, the economies of the entire world. But it is really, as we were saying, it is untapped yet. I mean, we have a lot to do, and we have a lot of opportunities because it has also big space for more workers, for more business activities, for more support services, for more activities to be done added to the core business itself. So it is a multifaceted and a big value chain of business activities, and therefore we need, personally myself and my colleagues and my teams, together with your good selves as investors and as partners, to spend more time in explaining, in talking, in listening to you, and in reacting proactively in order to improve the business environment where you operate. And that's why, part of that, I'm sorry, Edna, for not leaving you to ask me the rest of the questions, but actually this was why, which is not good, but this is what happened, why I was late, because I was engaged in some important discussions, negotiations that will pave the way for all of you. So we are now in a bottleneck somewhere, and some of my smart partners here understands where we are, and perhaps by the end of the day, maybe we will hear good news. Then this will pave the way for everybody here in this industry. So that's why I was saying that we need to spend more time to do some more efforts, all of us collectively, industry, government, partners, everybody, in order to make sure that we reach this important milestone of added value for everybody. Thank you.
And I mean, I think it's clear, the mining industry can't sit in isolation. The demand in the future, the position and value as part of the energy transition, I think we all have to understand that. And again, the value creation here in the country. Let's have a look back to maybe 2018 when you put those reforms in place. And again, maybe elaborate a little bit on how that you think that has impacted the sector up until this year now.
I think that also it was not that paved way. Actually, we really had some challenges since 2018. And to tell you the truth, yeah, these were some good reforms, but actually after these 4 or 5 years, definitely passing through the COVID-19 and now the Russian-Ukrainian war, I have to tell you that these reforms that we have taken are not enough. And I have been engaged with different meetings, with different committees from the American Chamber, from the Canadian Chamber, from the Industry Union, from our investors, from our local investors as well. I think that they are still facing some challenges, I know. And that's why I'm sincerely saying that when we spoke about such forum, I needed to have it about that scale in order to keep you close to me, in order to get the opportunity to talk and get quickly the feedback. Because when we have big conferences, like proudly the Egypt in February, this is now a world-class forum. This is mature enough. This is already in high school, no, in university, that's fine. But that's why I said we need to have these small forums in order to make sure that we can have these discussions and these dialogues. Because I personally feel that we have still to reform, and we have still some loopholes, I know, and we have still some challenges, but I'm committed to reform. I'm committed to overcome all these challenges, and I think that this will be opened once we will start announcing this news that I was telling to you about. This will open I would say open the door for more reforms and to more encouragement for your side to get more and more. So we are on the right track, however, not enough, I know. But I'm committed, my teams are committed, and believe me, we are not doing this for the sake of today, because I mean, in 1 hour we'll go home, isn't it? No, we are saying this because we want you to be there for long years to come. So we are willing, we are committed, we'll continue doing the reforms needed.
And clearly it's a work in progress, but it's all looking towards more investment, more development of the country, and really a win-win for everybody. Is that what you want to see at the end of the day?
Yes, it is easy. And believe me, once again, it's a culture change. So please be patient. You need to help us. Because what we have done successfully and proudly in the oil and gas for the last few years, of course it was an older industry with success stories originally, but the enhancement that we have done over the last few years is not far from what we can do in mining. So with some patience, we are together because we need to change the culture. We need your patience and your support to help us doing this. So it's a win-win, as we said, and believe me, we are not far away. And at the end of the day, we need this kind of investments and this kind of investors who believes in the system, who believes in the growth of your companies and our country. Both together needs to work in alignment.
And you know, you talked a lot about sustainability, about the focus on ESG, how important it was for everybody here. And again, when we talk to the CEOs and we talk to all of the players here, without a doubt, there's a confidence within them that Egypt can be a major global player, and it should be. But everything has to come up, and ESG definitely has to be part of that. You've talked about your commitment to this. Just again, tell us how important that will be to position Egypt as a major player globally.
I mean, we have, as we said at the beginning, we have the proper ingredients in place. But how to put them properly. So we have them scattered, but we need to put them properly in the plate. So the ingredients are there. So we have the location, we have the skills, we have the infrastructure. Everybody over the last few days was talking about good infrastructure that Egypt has. We need to capitalize on that. We did not do enough to capitalize on that. So we have the talents, we have all the skills, and we've said before, we have cheap, talented, educated labor, and this is something that you do not find easily everywhere. And we have the mineral ores. So, but how can you optimize these mineral ores at the right, with the right ingredients, let me say? And how important, as you said, the Egyptian opportunity in this time. We have to take advantage of the momentum that we started during COP27 last year, where we were able to demonstrate that we have a role to play, not necessarily Egypt, but I mean within Africa and Egypt as a regional Mediterranean country. With the ingredients that we have some good energy resources, and we have some good mineral ores. So I think that this together with the momentum that we took from COP27, I think that we have what it takes for the proper energy transition period, taking into consideration that the world now is all focusing on transition minerals as well. So all the metals that are needed for this are and could be found in Egypt, not necessarily all of them, some. How we can do this without attracting the proper technology provider companies, the companies who has got the experience, the technology, the investment tools, and without showing that Egypt is also committed to its NDCs and to all what it takes regarding proper transition. I think we have done a lot of good steps in this regard. We have announced our different pledges and commitments within COP before and after, and I think that briefly I can tell you that Egypt is also committed to all the programs of ESG. So, and we have in place the proper players who understand their responsibilities and committed also to the countries where they operate, and accordingly to Egypt as well. So I think very good steps taken forward, and I think this is a catalyst that we have to use.
And finally, I just, again, it's a real honor for me to be here. Your team has been so supportive. The team at DMG is so passionate. You've got a great group of people, all the teams for all of our CEOs, all of our speakers who put everything together. They really did so much work, your exhibition people, to bring this to life. So if there's one last word, I suppose you want to maybe ask our audience, what do you want from them as we now get ready for the year ahead? You promised you're going to do a lot to give them something, but have a bit of give and take here.
So you want me to ask them, or they want to ask me?
No, you promised them that you're working on so much at the moment. But if there's, just leave them with that great message of hope and inspiration here, and maybe what do they do to help you drive this forward?
No, I don't want to repeat what I said, but I just want them, after what I said in this session, and of course during the course of our meetings over the last few months and few years, please rest committed, and please keep committed, and be patient. I don't want you to be patient till the end of the world, but I want to be patient for a few weeks, few months. Things are improving and things are getting better. Keep your patience and keep your commitment to Egypt. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We have
Thank
to
you.
take a little photo, I think, and then.
Yeah, sure. Actually, I just want to close my words because maybe this is the last session that I will be meeting my audience. Yeah, so I just want to thank them very much for their commitment to this forum, and having you during these 2 days, whether during the exhibition, whether through the panels, round table, speeches, whatever, meetings, really demonstrated to me how valuable we are to you, and this makes me happy and proud that at least we have been able to do something. This was not there a few years ago, and I have here industry leaders here, some of my colleagues, who said, I've never seen something like that. This makes me happy together with my colleagues, keeps us also motivated, and we need to be encouraged. So we need you to keep us encouraging us so that we can give you more, and then we grow together. So I have to thank you very much for your commitment. Thank you for spending these 2 days with us, giving us your feedback was very valuable. Thank you so much. And I think that I have also to thank my colleagues at the ministry, my colleagues at EMRA, and then finally I have to thank DMG, Salman, Claire, and I have to thank you, of course, Etna. You have been a great supporter to Egypt, and we have been together in all our forums, whether in Egypt or outside of Egypt, whether oil and gas or mining. Thank you so much, Etna, for that, and I thank really DMG team again for all the efforts they have done. And I have to say that I could not believe that you will be that enthusiastic. I'm talking to my partners here to sponsor this conference and this event to the extent that I wouldn't have believed that there are more and more companies that wanted to come and sponsor and do whatever is needed for the sake of the success of this sector and this industry. So I thank you for that. Your confidence will not jeopardize and will not be, I would say, will not let you down as long as you put your confidence and your faith in us. Thank you very much. Thank you, Etna, so much. It was a wonderful 2 days. And I think that you were lucky that we were all here today at these 2 days while you have very hot weather outside. So we spent some lovely times where people are suffering from the hot weather, and it was fruitful 2 meetings. Believe me, I'm very happy, and I thank you once again. Thank you.